It's so cute. In my head, I was literally thinking we're reading a vacation book and I want to kind of, I like to manifest whatever, it's fine. And I go, let me dress how I want to manifest to where I'm going. Like, where do you think I'd be going wearing this? What's this look like to you?
He's going to Santorini.
Take it. See, hear that, universe?
Capri.
Yeah,
she's
there. Sign the dotted line. I was originally, it's like Amalfi Coast, like an Aperol Spritz.
Love that.
Sign me
Love
up.
Amalfi Coast.
Solve
That'd be
all
fun.
my problems. Have you been? I've never been.
No. The only like really crazy place I've ever been is Cook Islands with my dad and brother one Christmas, which was a wild random. It's like off the coast of New Zealand. Really beautiful.
Amazing.
Small island. They only have one train that goes clockwise and counterclockwise. Like that's how you get around the island.
Now, is that by where they filmed Lord of the Rings? Didn't they do that in New Zealand? I guess. The really cool little houses that they have. Have you ever seen that? Read
I
it?
totally know what you're talking about. I just have no idea where that is.
I think it's in New Zealand because I did have a layover there once from Australia and I was devastated that I couldn't stay and hang out and look, but
we gotta go. I was also thinking like, wouldn't it be so fun once this becomes like a big fun thing? Wouldn't this be so fun if we like go on vacations and read like on vacation? Like that would be like our like influencer thing.
Yes. Can that be our life? I'm in. I'm there. Sign me up.
Yes. Basically we're living Poppy's life is what I'm saying.
I want to live Poppy's life. Let's go to Amalfi Coast. Let's read. Let's do it all. I'm in.
Except actually we're living Poppy's life, but also a little bit Alex because he's the big reader.
This is true. Did they say what he's reading in the book? I can't remember.
They did, yeah. When he blows his back out and not for a fun reason.
Sorry,
I'll see
Alex.
myself out.
Every episode, I want one moment where Molly has to see herself out. I think that's just got to be an episode, every weekly thing. I expect it. Inappropriate Molly Burnett behavior.
For me, it's a win if it's only once a week, okay?
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, everyone, Bunchies, what is up? Welcome to another episode of A Novel Bunch. And this week, we are reviewing chapters 9 through 18. Next, we will be diving into 19 to 27. So make sure you guys catch up. Whatever you're listening on, subscribe, like, comment, all that fun YouTube stuff. We appreciate you guys so very much. But let's dive in. I mean, there's so much that happened.
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, when we were talking, I was like, oh my gosh, I did not realize we had so many pages to read.
No, I know. And you and I, we like to read it literally the day before because we really want everything to be fresh in our heads.
Yes.
And literally at like 8 p.m. last night, I'm like, Lord, what did I sign up for here? Why did I wait so long?
Oh my gosh, I know. I was like, because sometimes I get real sleepy when I read. So I'm like chugging Celsius. I'm on like Celsius number 3.
You love your Celsius. I love it.
I love a Celsius, right? But my dad said, I'm not allowed to drink it while we're recording because then I would go big.
You gotta have water. Water, girl. Do you have water?
Which I've got. Shout out DB.
And your Stanley.
Oh. In his water.
What is?
My hydro flask.
Oh, she's that
link
girl.
It below.
I love it.
You know what we should link? Can I just talk about this really quick?
Yeah.
So I got this ring. I know.
Hello.
Apparently it's like some fancy, real expensive dupe. But this was $28, and it is
Let me see her again. I literally lifted my hand to grab your hand, and I'm like,
"Here you go.
We're not in real life." Thanks. I love
shiny,
her.
So beautiful. Supposed to not tarnish, and it's on TikTok. So maybe we could link that for anybody.
Yes. Can I link it for myself? I can wear a matching one.
You can link it for yourself, and then if you want, you can get my science ring.
What is your science ring? Oh my God, stop it. Where'd you get that? What is that?
I random stuff all over the place. I got this when I did that movie Giant Void, which was one of the coolest experiences of my life. And she was like just a tech nerd, incredibly intelligent, really cool. And I always get myself a little something every time I wrap a project. One time it was our friend Brooke who made me those amazing bracelets. Remember she made me all the bracelets for every show I've been in?
Oh my
Shout out
gosh.
Brooke, we love you.
We love you, girlfriend. She made sick bracelets.
Stunning. I'm gonna need some more.
Did you watch the first season of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives? The TikTok girls, the Mormon girls. You never watched that?
I followed them on TikTok. I never followed them over to their show.
Girl, okay. Season 1, phenomenal. Season 2 is coming out on the 15th. So I am just like sweaty with excitement about it because I love it. It's so good. These girls.
How do you find it?
I want to say Hulu, but I would double
Okay.
check. And
That
if
feels right.
anyone doesn't know what this is, these women got really famous on TikTok years ago. They called it Mom Talk. It was a bunch of really young moms, and they're all Mormons. So they follow, really specific, rules. They don't drink. Well, they kind of do. They're not supposed to have caffeine in hot forms, but what they do is there's this place called Swig, which they just opened one up in Orlando. Swig, SWIG. Yeah, and it's like
They did do a little swinging though.
I know, we were going to get
I
to
remember
that.
correctly.
You remember correctly. No, but they all gather at this place called Swig in Utah, and they just opened one in Orlando, and it's this dirty pop store, so you go and get soda there. It's like the thing that they do. They're allowed to have caffeine and soda, I guess, but not in hot forms. So, I don't know. Sometimes they'll put ice cream in it.
Pop.
I know, but it looks so good because they make these delicious little drinks. I'm like, I think I need to go.
Yeah,
I need to
absolutely.
check Swig out. Yeah, long story short, they had this big scandal with their soft swinging. You would think they would never do that because, they were following all these really intense rules, but, things happen in life.
And it's always the ones who put real strict regiments on themselves that go the opposite direction because I just don't think we're built for that.
Yep.
I think we're built to be free spirits and listen, this is so not judgmental. I don't care what your religion is. I don't care anything, right? And the reality is that none of us know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So whatever makes you feel better, whatever helps you sleep at night, whatever gives you faith when you feel scared, I'm cool with it. But I will say the more restrictive we are, I find, the more likely that person is to go the opposite direction.
With anything in life. 100%. 100%. So I don't know, though. It's a great show. I'm going to be watching it, so I'll keep you posted on my findings. Yes. By the way, y'all, Molly makes us these fabulous little notes, and I just love you. Shout out to Molly. Just my girl. Yes, obsessed. So obsessed. They're so good. And she makes all these jokes in them for me, and I just crack up as I read them. I'm like, obsessed. It's my favorite part of this whole thing. But chapter 9, we dove in.
Sorry, say that again. I'm going to turn my volume. I just had a sports alert. Sorry about that, gang. So sorry.
Oh, you're good.
So sorry. There we go.
Chapter 9 was a this summer. So we were back in current day, which you and I were both so excited for this chapter to come up because we stopped at 8 and we go, what the freak? We're finally into it.
I know.
There was an awkward silence as we get the trip started, but when they get in the car with another couple, the other couple's on their honeymoon and they start to role play. So you might remember the other couple had on like those big hats. One said hubby, one said wifey. And diet your note. I just know Alyssa picked up on my hand tangled in and dwarfed by his. Yes, I did. And you know why I did? Because in my notes, I had another actual quote. I loop my hands through his, turning to flash them a smile, pretending to be newlyweds. Like, what did you think when that happened? Were you just like...
Well, we didn't know that they role played yet, right? We're going to learn eventually that this is kind of a little thing that they do, which is hilarious. And I love it. I love doing this kind of, this is so us coded.
Yeah.
So I love that they do it, but I didn't know they were back to that point of their friendship that they could do. I think that when she says, we also are married, he kind of catches him off guard a little bit, and then he goes into it. So I love that he hopped on that train with her.
I believe he said, or the script said, he was terrified and excited because he was just like, oh my God. Oh my God.
Yes. These chapters got a little like, the longing is coming, right?
I'm feeling the yearning. It is really, really just giving me everything. Like, couldn't be happier with where it's going.
I know. This is the most fun part, right? Because once the couple that you're rooting for gets together, then it's kind of like...
Because you want that yearn. You want that fight. You want to have the slow burn. And then when they finally get together, you're going to be like, oh my God. Also, the fact we still don't fully know what happened in Croatia. We know little. And we'll get there. But you were right, Mustang. You knew. She's like, I've read a book or two.
I was like, hey,
But yeah, no, Poppy had said to him when they were, I believe it was after they finally got dropped off. And she was like, what did she say exactly? You're not a person who relishes change. And that got me to thinking, and I'm so curious because she ended up getting a new haircut and he ended up, she was like, look at us both. Like, we're both relishing in change essentially. Are you a person who welcomes change or do you get a little stressed out about it?
You know what's interesting, and maybe you can speak to this. In theory, as a Taurus, I fear change, but I thrive in chaos. So I don't know what part of my sign that is that allow, because I know Taurus are very stubborn and regimented. Not to say that I don't have that in me, but the more chaotic, the more unknown, the more, I mean, I moved to LA being an actor, right? Statistically,
Yeah.
I'm not going to succeed at that. So we're not like level-headed, mentally stable people. And I say that as one, so I feel like I can say that, you know what I mean? But I love chaos, and I like change. Change is really hard, right? But I think we are all works in progress. And I think the goal of being around on this planet is to change and evolve and stay curious. Or else what are you doing?
100%. Change, it's not fun, but it is necessary. And I feel like for you, it really is the double Leo in your chart. I know I brought this up last time, but I was literally telling you this the other day. I was like, yeah, I thrive in chaos. Like, bring it on, give it to me. And I'm a Leo sun. So I'm like, yeah, whatever, we got this. I will say, though, I am a creature of habit.
Yes.
Although I welcome change, I am very specific in my ways. I like to do things a very, very, very methodical way. And then if there's a little bit of a change in it, I'm like, okay, like just do it, Alyssa. You're telling me I have to do what?
I'm just finding this out for the first time.
But it is so necessary for so many reasons. I mean, that's essentially, if you're not growing, you're declining. Remember that? It's so true, though. Also, in your notes here, you had. Remember when they were talking about taking the photos, and Alex just always takes a bad photo of Poppy, right? He always goes down low. And I'm curious, with people you've dated, has it been something where they're good at photo taking? Or is it just universal that most?
Yeah, I've dated 50-50, right? I've had a small handful of partners that just kill it. And in fact, they like have fun with it. It's like it becomes an art project, right?
Yeah.
And then I have some where I'm like, honey, what? All of these are blurry. What are we doing? My brother's actually a phenomenal photographer. He gives angles, he gives advice, he gives he's just
he gets it done. Oh, I love that. I love him.
Freddie. Freddie's pretty good, right?
Freddie's phenomenal. And I think it's because it's the creative. Now, however, this kind of goes back to my little 2019, 2020 blogging era where we used to have to go out and shoot all the time because these labels would send me clothes and I'm like, oh, gotta get it for the blog, whatever. And he just would slay. Now, anytime I go anywhere, I'm like, honey, here you go. Like, get the shot.
Yeah.
Because he knows better than I. And sometimes he'll get down low, how Alex does with Poppy, but it's to show off the background. And I think if you know how to angle yourself, it could turn out good. But
who's the best at that? Olivia Culpo.
Is she?
Angles are just but that's like Miss America talent.
I was gonna say she knows.
I never know what to do with I'm so awkward. It's always this, and it's every teeth is showing, but that's just how I smile. I remember joking with Galen and Alex Sweeney, shout out Days of Our Lives. They would call me double teeth because when I smile, you can see every teeth. But I joke with them, if I didn't show every teeth, I would look like this.
You would be so cute. You're gorgy. I think it goes with your person. I want that to be the thumbnail of this episode.
By the way, we're so sorry for our thumbnails. We did them at the last second. I was taking a cheeky pic, with my book, but it looks like I'm being a basic biddy. Look how big my lips are. And my dad was like, what are you doing? And I was like, all right, Chris Jenner, chill.
I think it's fabulous, but we will take some new ones every app because why not?
Mm-hmm.
But no, okay, so back to this episode.
Yes, okay. So we have the first clue of their past arguments, right? Poppy said pride is what tore them apart and that she's not going to stop saying things just because she wants him to say them first. That's our first clue of what happened in Croatia, which is pretty much the goal of this book, is what the heck happened to tear them apart and to hurt this very clearly beautiful friendship where they're obviously both in love, but pretending like they're not, I guess. Poppy talks about how she used to get bullied really bad. Then she listens to Alex's life and how crazy he's had it. He lost, shout out Dead Parent Club.
I know, I thought of you. I know. When you read stuff like that, does it, I guess, hit a little differently for you? Or are you at such a point now? Because how long's it been since your mom's passed?
It's been
kind of a while.
Years. It's been a really long time. I know. Sometimes it feels like yesterday, and then sometimes it feels like 1,000 years ago. Grief is so interesting and so nonlinear, and so sometimes I'll be reading something or I'll see something, or I just had an audition where the mom passed away, and it's just like normal, and then sometimes it's uppercut,
just hits. Yeah, gosh, that's so crazy. Oh my goodness. So he sadly is part of that club too. But we learned though a lot about kind of who they were and what was going on when they were younger. Well, and then too, they were saying that this is so funny, a throwback to last episode. The entire time that I was reading this, I was not thinking of that old actor I told you episode 1, the Milo
Manaheim?
kid. Yeah.
Milo Manheim? Mhm.
Completely changed this time around. The lead female Poppy still is the same girl, Emily, but what's her last name? Bader?
Bader?
Bader.
I think it's Bader.
Yeah.
By the way, do you know who she's dating?
No.
Andrew Garfield. That lucky bitch. I wish him nothing but love, but if it doesn't work
Really?
out and he wants to spin the block, I'm down. Okay?
If it doesn't work out.
I know Andrew Garfield watches our show.
Clearly our number one fan.
Big rom-com guy.
He's a bunchy baby.
He's a punchy. I'm rooting for you too, but if it doesn't work out, I am here for you. Okay?
So she's dating him. Good to know. Good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's funny because from this chapter, they basically were saying how Alex says, I think it was his students, that he looks like Ryan Gosling if he had a bee sting.
Kids are savages.
Savage.
I know. It's so funny. I volunteer at this middle school, and it's a bunch of girlies that, whose parents maybe have to work or whatever it is. And they asked me how old I was. And I go, how old do you think I am? And they go,
Ooh.
46. And I go, get out of my office.
46.
And I go, I'm 36. And then like 3 of them are like, you're older than our moms.
You're like, oh.
Jesus, take the wheel.
Time my niece asked me my age, I go 25. My sister looks at me, I'm like, I'm 25, kid.
Numbers, they don't get it. That's fine.
No.
They'll be fine with 25 until they hit like 12.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. I'm still gonna be 25
Forever.
It's tough. It's fine. It's fine.
Forever. But you said Alex teaches all the AP kids, so we've got a hot teacher
Yes.
alert, which brings me to a quick question.
Yeah.
Did you have a hot teacher growing up?
Ooh, I did. I have a very weird story about this.
Give it to us.
Okay, so I love academics. I took my schooling incredibly seriously, and I had this chemistry teacher. His name was Mr. Taylor. Everyone had a crush on him. However, when it came to different subjects, math was my number one that I just despised. And then my brain doesn't, like, I would sit and I would study and I do very well, but my brain doesn't work that way. I'm more a wordsmith, right? I love reading, writing, all of that good stuff.
Mhm.
So I remember I got my first C on a test and I had a freaking meltdown because the C was going to affect my A, and I couldn't even dare think about not getting straight A's. And so everyone leaves the class. I'm sitting there, sitting at my desk, like sobbing over the C. I couldn't even handle it. And so I go up to him after, and he was just kind of looking at me like, why are you still here? Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with you. And I'm like, please, is there any extra credit, anything I can do? I can't have a C. And he's so sweet, but he was kind of looking at me like, I can't be alone in here with like one of my students, like consoling her with a C.
We're the same person, just so type A wired to get straight
Yes,
A's, and then
yes.
the beat up that happens to your brain when you don't.
My gosh, so he grabs like these Kleenex, and he's like really far away, and he's like, here you go. He's like, yeah, do some extra credit. And that was it.
I'm not getting arrested today. There you go.
But did you ever have one? Like hottie
You know what?
teacher alert?
I had a teacher that I loved, Mr. Stedron. He was just the man. He was our speech and debate coach.
Love it.
The level of cool I was in high school is overwhelming, okay? He was my speech and debate coach. I loved him. He understood that I was just a weird, like, just let me do my thing. I'm sorry, you can't control what I'm gonna do. I have my own. And then the teachers that realized if you just sat back and let me do my thing, it was gonna work out for you, right? If you tried to control me, I was gonna rebel. That was just who I was. But I had a hot female teacher. She was my Spanish teacher, Mrs. Hochschild.
Really?
Miss
Really?
Hochschild. So hot.
Oh my gosh.
Very
So
hot. I know.
everyone probably wanted to learn Spanish. They were
Oh my
like,
God.
we're coming through Spanish 1, 2, and trace.
100%. The amount of dudes in her class, but also the amount of bitches that were like, hola, me llamo Marcos. Estoy tratando de aprender español. Y también
Te amo.
te amo.
I love that for us. Yeah, I really feel like all of his students 100% are simping for him. Like,
Big
how
simp.
could they not?
That's what the kids say now, right? They simp.
I think
they
so.
simp. Big simp.
Yeah,
Big
they're
simping.
simping. Big
I'm gonna stop.
simping.
That's
Big
myself out.
simping, baby.
That's because like I sent it to you, right? Where he's like, everybody's saying I'm so millennial coded. Like, I'm so millennial coded. Okay. And he's like, that was millennial coded. Okay. All right. I get it. I
It
get
was so good. Dude, at the very end of the chapter, because you know me, I kind of freak out when I read certain things. And
Sure.
this was something I just had to share. I literally, in my notes, it says, took me out. He stares at me for a beat, and then, is it my imagination? Or does he swallow too? You too, he says, and touches the end of a wave that comes loose from my ponytail to fall along my cheek, touches it so lightly I can barely feel it at the scalp, and the delicate motion sends a tingle down my neck. And I like the haircut.
The voice? Come on, boys. Get this bitch going.
I could be the boy.
When I listen to the audio version of a book and it's a woman reading it and she goes like this.
You're like,
he's like, the
what am I
things I'm
listening
gonna do
to?
you.
Like, can't we just hire one other voice actor to do the male stuff?
One guy, one girl. Okay? That's easy.
So they don't do that. They just
I
do.
think some Akatar is starting to do it now. I think they're like casting
Probably.
people because the Audible world, the audiobook is a big thing.
Yeah. Oh my
Not the
gosh.
word, but you know what I mean? You know where I'm going with that.
Hey, we're gonna read it.
Yes. We also have the line of the week.
Tell me.
I think line of the week, chapter 9, was Poppy and Alex get to this terrible Airbnb, right, in Palm Springs because they're trying to be financially responsible. So they found this little Airbnb. It was supposed to have 2 beds. Now they get there. It's got a tiny bed and then a chair that like folds out as a bed. I thought the same thing. I was like, they're going to have to sleep in the same bed.
Thank you,
Alas.
Emily Henry.
Alex wants to be a gentleman, so he's going to sleep on the chair. And Poppy goes, why? Because I'm a woman and they'll take your Midwestern masculinity away if you don't fall on the sword for every gender norm presented to you?
Love an independent baddie.
Like that. Poppy.
No, she came in hard on him. And while I did love it, I feel because of the kind of content I consume when it comes to books, like romance,
I'm gonna go.
enemies to lovers. I love chivalry like, in everything
Sure.
that I do. I'm just like, yes, give me your sweater when it's cold. Let me have the best bite of the sandwich. You sleep on the chair and I get the bed. I am that way. Maybe I'm just a little crazy. I don't know. But I did love that line though.
That's the thing. Like, I always wonder, like, is chivalry a little dead?
Yes.
Because if you're on a date, and dating apps are the worst, right? Nobody enjoys them. But when you're on a dating app and you match with somebody, why are the men waiting for the women to reach out?
That is weird to me.
More
And
the
I've
guy. Is that
So
a
do-
terrible gender? Am I going to get slandered with Gen Z for saying that? Like,
No.
I understand that women can be bad bitches and have our own world and our own everything, but like, if I'm dating, if I want to date somebody or I match with somebody, like, say hi. You're the guy.
100%. And I don't know how I would fare in the current dating climate because I am someone very much who is like, you reach out first date, you pick me up, you open my door, bring me flowers while you're at it. And you pay, point blank period. Like, that's it. That's just how I roll. And I would probably be rudely awakened, but that's just,
It's not fun anymore. It's not fun
you're
anymore.
like, keep reading your books, girl. You have no idea what it's like out here.
It is
So-
hard out here for a pimp.
So they just don't reach out first. They wait for, they'll match. That's
Once in
so,
a while, but it's boring. What are we doing then? What do you do? I mean, like I said, I'm not a big dating app person. It gives me anxiety. I don't like it. But every once in a while, if I'm bored, I'll dabble on it. And like,
Why
if I match with
not?
somebody, it's like, say hi. But then I
Now-
guess you could rebuttal. I could just say hi.
no, they're the man. They should do it.
Well, because also here's my thought. The Cro-Magnon man, right? I love this analogy. Cro-Magnon man, old school version. Evolution happens very slowly, which means our brains have not evolved very quickly. We still have the female take care of the home and the kids and communicate with the neighbors. That's why women innately are very good communicators. It's in our hardwiring, right? And men go out, hunt, gather, chase. That's what they do. So like if you put that in the dating world, still our old versions of our brain, it's like hunt and gather and chase. So if you say hi, that immediately gets rid of their internal need to chase.
Oh, that's interesting. And they're like, oh, I already have it right here. And that contradicts,
That's what
you
they tell
know.
themselves. They don't.
I also feel too, when it comes to relationships between essentially two, even a man and a woman, it's like if I as a woman can really live and thrive in my feminine energy and he can thrive in his masculine, I think it goes very well together because there's so much even with Freddie that he does that allows me to just be feminine, to live in that energy, to stay in that lane, to do the things that naturally come to me. I'm naturally very feminine, you know,
Your
that's just
hardwiring, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And so I just think it really complements each other very well when you're able to do that. But
Yeah.
everyone's different, so it's, you
And
know,
we're obviously talking about cisgender relationships.
yes, yes,
Everything changes
yes.
when, when the genders change. Whatever
Percent.
gender or non-gender
Yeah,
it is.
yeah, yeah.
There's all kinds of
Of
things. Which, by the way, do you know,
course.
a lot of Native American tribes believe there's like 10, 15 genders. So
Really?
cool. So beautiful, so cool. A lot of doctors are familiar with a lot of different genders just because it's chromosomal, right? So we don't even go
Hmm.
into that diatribe, but it's just interesting. Anyway, if we're talking about straight man, straight woman, the chase needs to be there. And to have somebody be able to be in their feminine and somebody to be able to be in their masculine, I think that just genetically works.
Yeah, yeah.
That
And we
scenario.
can speak on that because that's what we're living. You know, that's
Exactly.
what our reality is. So yeah,
Yeah.
I thought that was very interesting. But going into chapter 10,
Yes. So
we
we're in
go
Canada.
Canada. We go back 10 summers. And it's so funny. I'm curious if you're feeling the same. I love reading about their past trips, but
too.
as we continue to move on, I'm like, I need to know more about current day. But I love reading because it's, you know, it makes them who they are and it
You said
explains their
current day. Do you mean
relationship.
Croatia?
Current
Current
day.
day.
Yeah. What'd you think I
Current
said?
day.
Oh.
Current day. Okay, chapter 10. We're in Victoria, Canada. I'm totally with you. I love hearing about the past, but I just want to see, I just want to know what's going on right now.
I know, I know. And in chapter 10, what I did love is that they end up meeting some new friends. Buck, their tour guide.
Buck and Daisy.
Buck
Shout
and
out.
Daisy.
It's like kind of hipstery, like music festival-y, weird kind of crew of people.
Yes, and at the end of their little tourist, they went like rafting. Is that what it was? Poppy and Alex.
They went on a
They
boat? They
Yeah,
were on a
yeah, yeah,
water
yeah,
skiing
yeah.
boat.
Well, okay. So
Yeah.
they were doing that, and at the very end, they meet this guy named Buck, and he's like, "Oh, where are you guys staying?" And they told him, and he's like, "Oh, that's where all like the grandparents live. Why don't you
Right.
guys just stay here? Like my house is right up the way." Poppy, she said something about like she loves wandering on vacation and, you know,
Love it.
essentially being spontaneous, which I love that. I feel that way too. I
Me
think it's
too.
so much fun. And he's like, "Yeah, you guys can sleep in a tent out front." I was like, well,
Alex's
I
nightmare.
don't love that.
Yeah. How do you,
Alex,
would you leave your hotel for a tent?
hell nah. Would
No.
you?
Lamper at the least. I'm more likely to do it. I love give me chaos. I'm from Colorado, right? So I'm not new to a tent world. But the
Sure.
older I get, the more I want. I remember Colin Cowherd, my favorite sports broadcaster, was like, "Why would I pay a whole bunch of money to live below my means?"
Facts.
My favorite part of the chapter, right? So it's like they're having this like little hippie dream in Victoria, Canada, and there's a party. Everybody's drinking, smoking. Poppy sees Alex with this girl Daisy. They're chatting. Poppy goes to hook up with Buck. Poppy, you little charlatan.
I loved it.
Here for it. Poppy does not want to sleep with Buck. God bless. Live your life. All good. And then he kicks her out because he wants to go find someone else to sleep with.
Dude, when I was reading that, I go, Buck, Buck.
Appreciate the honesty, I guess. Like, we
Yes.
don't know each other. We just made out. You want to go get it in? It's not going to be with me, so go do it. But it's a typical guy, right? Like, I'm gonna go. That was fun. I'm gonna go. I want to.
But like they're staying on your lawn, Buck. Like you
I-
might see her again. But he didn't
Can't
care.
wait one night, man. Can't wait one night.
Nah.
They're gone in
nah.
the morning. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Well, and so then she goes down to the tent, Poppy, and we're expecting to maybe see Alex with Daisy, who he had
Yeah.
left with. And
Yeah.
little Alex is just there and he just kind of wakes up. And what he was saying to her, the moment that they had where he was cracking all those jokes, I think he was like, "Did the drapes match the curtains? Ha ha ha." And he was just
Buck
making
has this big old beard.
yes, yeah, Buck's big old beard. There were just so many moments, and they're saying they're cracking up, and he's consoling her in such a sweet way that she doesn't even know he's consoling her. They're just being true, organic, vulnerable moments with the two of them. And it was just so sweet. And I go, there's so many things, I swear to you, and not to bring this up every time, but there's so many parallels to my friendship with Freddie and what we used to do, because we were in our early 20s. You know, they're
Yeah.
in their 20s here, and you're
Yes.
reading and hearing all these different stories. And
There's so many parallels between the two of you.
yeah, and I just moments where like we would both go out for the night together, and like we'd go flirt with other people, and then you always end up there talking until like 5 a.m. You know, it's bizarre. I'll be asleep at that
I
point.
love it.
But it made me think. So obviously they go on all these vacations, and obviously they're both very much flirting and having, you know, little flings, if you will. Have you ever had a time in your life where you've gone on vacation and you did have that kind of fling? Is that something that's ever happened? No.
3 times. Very innocent. The first 2 very innocent. I was like 16 on a cruise. We were all the kids were wilding. I made out with this kid. I don't even remember his name. So far, I was in love with him. I was like, I'm never gonna see him again. God bless. Another time, I was in the National Honor Choir,
Yes.
and we were all, after our performance in Los Angeles, we were all up all night, like hanging out in like the common area of the hotel. And I fell in love with this other guy, and we talked all night, and it was just amazing. And then I think we kissed. I can't remember. And then I was like, I love this man. I'll never see you again either. And then in Barcelona, that I just went to in 2023.
So adult Molly went away.
Adult Molly. Adult Molly. I was with 2 of my friends, Nina and Danielle, and this man just came flying up on like a Vespa or something. He's like Italian. He's like, "You're so beautiful. Come to our party." And we did. And we had, before I know it, I'm living my like Lizzie McGuire best life. What was that movie she did?
Paolo, sing to me.
I literally had a Palo. We were on his Vespa at 4 a.m. We're looking at the basilica. It was like amazing. And then never talked to him again, which is what you're supposed to do on vacation.
You're
right?
supposed to. That's not supposed to turn into love. Or maybe it is. Who am I to
Right.
say? But
But
I
I'm
think
not
that,
I don't one night stand it, and I don't judge it. I can't do it.
Yeah. you need
I
the
don't know.
relationship, the love, the feelings, whatever. Yeah, I get that 100%. I never got to experience that except a little cruise in 8th grade. You know, the vibes. I think we all live that life.
We all live that little cruise, that quick cruise hookup.
And then you go home and you're friends and follow them on AOL for like 5 years and kind of like, what's going on?
Yeah, MySpace. Like, oh my God.
Yes, all the things. Oh my gosh. I
Love
just
it.
love that. Well, going into next chapter, chapter 11, we go
So we're
back
back.
to this summer. Yes. And Alex talks about his kids being obsessed with a CGI model influencer, which I've seen these. Have you ever seen these
too.
on Instagram?
Me too. And I was going to ask you about it. How do you feel about these? Because there's a lot of like body dysmorphia that's going to come. I mean, the CGI models that I've seen are the most beautiful, disproportionate men and women.
Yeah.
And we are teaching our kids and us what we're supposed to look like. And Instagram isn't real, right? It's a highlight reel. Nothing is real. Don't believe anything of it. But we are all on it all the time, comparing ourselves to each other all the time. So now we're putting CGI in, and little kiddos are having to compare themselves to that. I don't love it, but I also know it's here to stay. So how do we live with it?
It's so interesting you say that, because I just saw this video from the Met Gala where they were showing, you know, people's real skin tones on the carpet. They're like that we all have texture, you know, like it's not airbrushed, it's not perfectly smooth, and it just captures, hey, we're all real people, even these people that you look up to and think, if only I could be like that. Like, no, we're all the same. We all are just real humans. So having CGI, having these, you know, influencers now that are absolutely the perfect prototype, it's terrifying. It's terrifying, but it's here to stay. And it makes me so curious to see what future generations are going to be like. Because from what I'm seeing with Gen Z, I feel like they kind of lived through this really weird time where they're like, I don't even want to socialize because everything out there is crazy. Like they kind of were the first ones who lived through the technology. We did too, but we had our childhood, right?
Yeah.
Like we
It
had
came
it
to
to a
us in high
certain point.
school.
Yes. But however, saying that, I feel like Gen Alpha, they really are just used to it and they don't care. And just from what I'm seeing, even though they're still obviously very young, I feel like they're going to be unbothered. I feel like Gen Z was kind of caught in the middle on that. And I think they're going to live into this whole new world of what we're going to be seeing with AI. You know, like you and I, we love ChatGPT. I love, yeah, Pete and Leonard, we name them and they know about it. Like they're our friends.
Like it. Okay.
They love
He
it.
likes it.
They love it. But again, this comes down to change where it's like do you embrace change, or is this something that's going to make it all collapse? Like, I don't know. What do you do? So,
well, and in a world where we are so connected, we've never been more connected and yet more disconnected. And so that's one of the reasons I love this show so much, is because we're reading books again. And we're like, hopefully people are reading them with us. Like, we're all trying to, like, because it's good for our brain to be reading that and not just be instant gratification with ChatGPT and CGI. And it's like, it's so nice to just sit down and read a book.
yes. And what I'll say too, I am so happy that we did hardcover, because I have a Kindle and I'm always reading on it.
Yeah.
But there's nothing like having a real book in your hand and
Game
getting
changer.
that little light, the book light at night, so you can read and stuff. You know, it's just nice not to be staring at a screen, because I will tell you, I stare at screens all the time. I'm always doing work on computers and my phone, and you know how it goes. So it is really nice to get back to that. But yeah, Alex was saying that his kids are obsessed with this CGI model influencer, and he hates it so much. And of course he does. Makes so much sense.
Makes so now we're starting to learn who these people are. So now it's like, oh my God, that's so Alex.
So Alex. But his kids tease him even more because they know that he hates that, right?
It's what's so endearing about him, right? Is he hates it and they know it, and it's so cute. More importantly, let's talk about the swimming scene when he takes his shirt off and she has to put sunscreen on him, and she like loses her shit a little bit.
Yeah. There have been a lot of moments where she just can't believe, like she literally said in that scene, she was like, oh my gosh, his muscles underneath my palm.
One thing about Alyssa is you are always going to get the recap of all the touching, and I'm here for it. Part of the love of our show.
But she said during that point, she goes, the 5% is back again. And I quote, it's a millisecond that belongs to the other 5%. The what if I leaned forward and kissed him over his shoulder, slipped his bottom lip between my teeth, twisted my hands into his hair until he turned around and pulled me into his chest. Girl, that's not just a 5%. If you're thinking that is a full 100.
30 at least. At least.
You are cooked, honey.
And at the end of the chapter, she says, because he gets out of the shower, she sees him, then she goes, is something changing? She said it never used to be like this until Croatia.
Because they hooked up.
Right, which brings us to chapter 12. So we're 9 summers ago. We are going to Nashville because they don't have the money to go to Paris, which is all good. I loved the scene where the mom brought out the big box of condoms.
Dude. Literally, Poppy said these condoms are for in case we start boning.
I love she's such a little savage. She's so sarcastic, freaks her mom out. Dad is obviously like very stern. Alex is waiting with him, freaks Alex out. He's like, I'm not sleeping with her, sir, I promise. Like, just absolute chaos all around. And it was so funny. I loved it. So it makes me want to ask you, when did you have the talk with your parents? Or did you ever?
They're kind of two different talks here, but first learning about what sex was,
Sure.
all I really remember, I was quite young. It was my sister and I. My mom, we were all in the bed in her bedroom, and I don't know why I recall, but it was like really dark in the room, probably because she didn't want to see our faces.
That generation didn't even say anything. So for our generation to be like, what's going on? They're like, here's a book.
Like, here you go. No, and I mean, I was very young, but, you know, questions do come up and you're curious as a kid. And I just remember her, you know, explaining it to us. And then throughout my life, I was always like a really good girl. So there wasn't really need of being like, let's sit down and tell you this. But then once I had my first serious boyfriend, it was senior year, you know, so it was a little bit later than most. And they just kind of let me know, like, yeah, like, you know, make sure you're safe. And it was like, that was kind of it. But what about you? Was yours a thing, or?
Did not talk about it with dad.
Okay.
Got with dad.
Okay.
But mom was on it. And she was so not shy about anything. She like sat me down. She's like, what do you want to know? She's like, okay, so there's this thing called an orgasm, and you have to make sure that you find a man that makes sure you have one.
Stop it.
Not everybody cares about it. She's like, sleep with a bunch of men, be safe about it, but sleep with a bunch of men so that when you do finally find your person, you know what you want, you know what you like. And the way she explained an orgasm was, she was like, it's like a whole sneeze for your whole body.
Stop it. I love it.
You think about it, like
100%. I love she explained all that. See, I don't really remember anything of that detail. Could have been
Nothing from
talked
Mama
about. I mean, my mom and I are so close, and growing
Yeah.
up, we would talk about everything, but I don't really have any of those like moments like that where sneeze for your whole body is something I remember. But I love it because it was so good, and that's why you didn't forget it. Like I'm obsessed with that.
It's such a great way to explain it. But we do learn that Poppy is a virgin. Find
We
that out.
did.
Shout out, right? There's no like you do it when you do. I didn't do it till college.
Yeah,
I waited a long time.
yeah.
Shout out Poppy. Sorry if my dad and brother listen to this. I've never had sex. Never done it before.
Never.
She wants a
We
perfect
don't do
time.
that.
No, absolutely not. She wants to have a perfect first time, which a lot of pressure to put on it. It's always awkward.
That's how I was. It's like I'm waiting until
Because you're a romantic, right? Little 12-year-old Alyssa was like, what did you say? I'm a what?
such a hopeless
Oh my
romantic.
god. Oh my god, I'm so obsessed. So of course, little Alyssa wanted the perfect time. Little Molly was like, "What's this sneeze about?"
I experienced the sneeze. Where do I go for one of those? Can I buy it? No, we're not buying that, Molly.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But
Unless
we
that's
also
your
have-
thing.
Yes. We also have a runner-up line of the week
Tell it. Give it to me.
because Poppy's talking about how crazy his body is, right? Because this man is ripped and tall and funny. Tell me again, smart. Why are they? Anyway, I digress. Alex says, "I exercise for my anxiety."
Yes.
Same.
Yes.
Relatable. We love a relatable king.
So many people ask me why I run, and I go, I swear to you, the runner's high, what it does for my mental health, I swear to you, you can't go back. It's the best feeling, and any exercise will do that. But specifically, I love my runner's
Those
high.
endorphins going.
Yeah.
Can relate more. I exercise for my anxiety. So they are, let's see, 9 summers ago, we're in Nashville. They end up in the Billy Ray Cyrus room.
That I cackled when I read that.
Who's he dating right now? Elizabeth Taylor. Or no, not Elizabeth Taylor.
I thought he liked him young. Isn't she really young, his girlfriend?
No, it's who did Hugh Grant cheat on?
Elizabeth Hurley?
Elizabeth Hurley.
Really?
Elizabeth
Because
Taylor.
I love her.
Elizabeth Hurley and Billy Ray Cyrus are a thing right now. I guess they've been friends for a long time. Ding, ding, ding. And something changed, and now they are together.
Wow.
I know. Crazy, random.
I got to go down that rabbit hole after this.
Yeah. What's up with these dime women? Let me start that again. What's up with these dime women finding these little country boys? Like Gwen Stefani found her little country boy. Elizabeth Hurley found her little country boy.
Maybe you need a country boy, baby. Come on,
country boy?
country boys, come through the DMs. It's a good
Get out.
thing you're the one dating and not me.
Okay, so we find out Alex is not a virgin.
Yes, that's correct.
And at first he won't say who he slept with, which we stand a respectful king, right? He's like, I just don't want to give that away. Then he tells her right away. So yeah, I took that back. That's okay, 'cause they're besties. It's fine. And then Alex leans over. I know you remember this scene. Alex leans over her on the bed because he's like going to sleep on the chair, and she's like trying to pull him off, and she trips, falls on his chest, and lays over him. And she said she realized she wanted to kiss him, but that she'll keep it a secret forever. So I think this is the first time where she's like, we're in Nashville. This is 9 summers ago. And she's genuinely starting to talk about how she might have feelings for him.
Yes, which honestly, it really tracks out that timing because I feel like people can become just friends at first and they're really starting to get along. Eventually, once you really get to know that person, you're going to have that moment. Literally, because I love a quote.
Love the
This
quote.
is my favorite part. It speaks to me. I cry out through laughter, and his mouth pulls into a grin. And right then, that is the first moment I want to kiss Alex Nelson. I feel it all the way to my toes for 2 breathless seconds. Then I pack those seconds into a tight knot, tucking them deep into my chest, promising myself they will live deep in secret forever. But come on, how do you not read that and go,
Dead.
yeah,
Dead.
yeah, simply deceased. Poof, I'm gone.
Okay, so then we go to chapter 13. We're back at this summer. We're at Casa de Sam. Big bummer. Big disappointment. AC doesn't work. There's like a Dexter level kill film on the patio. It's 106. I don't know if you've ever been to Palm Springs during the really, really hot season.
Yes.
Yeah.
Devastating. Awful.
You cannot conceptualize heat like that until it's like
Dry
one of
heat
my-
is crazy. because I'm in Florida and I get humidity, which is also its own beast, but
Yeah.
dry heat at 110 degrees, like absolutely not.
I remember one of my girlfriend's bachelorette parties was there, like in the middle of the summer, and it was like 113, and we were like, oh my God. So
I think Alex said it was like walking in someone's mouth. It was so hot walking around.
paint the picture. This writer paints a picture.
Like, I get that.
Okay, so Alex shares that he bought a house and then his grandma
Mhm.
passed away, and Poppy's pretty heartbroken because she realized during the 2 years they haven't spoken, like all of this stuff has happened to him,
Yep.
and she doesn't know anything about it. So she feels left out. She feels sad. And we get another clue about Croatia. Alex says he didn't think she'd want to hear from him, you know, when they weren't speaking. And I was
Why?
wondering, what did he do?
Well, to go back to the very beginning when Poppy mentioned that pride kind of got in the way of their friendship the first time, and then this part where, you know, he didn't know if she wanted him to reach out. It's like, well, what happened?
Mm.
Was it his fault? Like, did they hook up and then he says, I don't want to be with you, or he stormed out or whatever? I don't know. But what could involve pride and him not knowing if he wanted her to reach out? Like, it got my wheels spinning. I go, what really happened? I don't know.
And it goes back to like reaching out. We also here's the opposite end of the why doesn't the guy reach out first on a dating app is I'm pretty fearless reaching out about stuff because you never know what is going to come from it, right? Like had she reached out to him and just said screw it, I wonder if they would have had to go through this whole 2 years apart.
That's true too. You know, I feel on that note as a woman too, if the situation feels right, 100%, it's okay. You can be the first person, especially if it's something where you're like, I just want to know so I can either like walk away from this or maybe it's going to spark
closure.
something. Yeah. But you don't want to be the person all the time doing that. I feel like it's really specific instances, at least for me. I mean, that's
Sure.
but I don't think it's a problem to be fearless and brave and go after what you want and to find that out. I think that's very wildly important, but every situation is different, right? So if she would have reached out, why didn't she reach out? You know,
Exactly.
like we just don't know.
Yeah. So at the end of the chapter, she admits that she's a little turned on by him. And I said, the yearning has begun. So we're now officially in,
Yearning season.
they're both single. They haven't both been single for a while. They're both single. And she is trying to see if they can. She, like, I don't even know. But she doesn't care anymore. She's into it.
And I love that. She is. And she's
Yeah.
kind of not fighting it.
Yeah. Which I love.
Yeah.
But it's still, they've got awkward moments and it's still uncomfortable. And Alex, so we get to chapter 14, still this summer. He has a back spasm. I don't know if you've ever had a back spasm. They're awful. And one thing about Alex is he hates being helpless. He doesn't like being helped, which brings me to a question to you. You and I are both pretty independent. Do you have any issues with being helped?
Oof.
Or asking for help?
100%. And I do think that is a little bit of ego. I won't lie. I'm just very much someone who is like, I can do this. I'm fine on my own. I got it. Like with certain things in my life, especially with work, even with like athletics, I'm just like, no, I freaking got it. And it might come down to ego. I don't know. Not that I'm an egomaniac by any means, but I'm just like, I got it. I can handle it. I have this. Yeah. It's just something inside me that I hate asking for help. Actually, now that you say that, I hate it. What about you? Is that
me too? I hate
really?
I hate it. I'm working on it in therapy. I'm just so used to doing everything on my own. And here's what's interesting: you and I both have wonderful parents, supportive parents. It's not like we were growing up in a situation where we had to, you know, take care of anybody. And yet we both have very much like older sister energy of like, we're just gonna do it. We're gonna do it on our own. I'm not going to ask for help. I got it. Don't worry about it.
It's so funny because when I think about it, even starting new things, I'm like you and I both, we dive head first and like, we're ready to go. Don't need to ask people. Even with our show, we were like, hey, want to do it? Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. We go for it. And I don't know. I think that's a great quality to have, but also I think it's important too, to be able to ask for help. And that's something preaching to the choir. There's the millennial in me again. What do you mean?
We've been through so much. We started with Columbine. We had 9/11. We had the housing crisis. We had the pandemic. Like, what more can we go through?
That's right.
So we've just all had to learn how to thug it out and survive no matter what. But I'm with you. I hate. But here's the other thing. It's a great quality, right? It's your superpower is also your Achilles heel. So our superpower is that we will go if we see something that we want or something we want to achieve, we will go for it. You and I would always rather be on the football field than in the stands, right? Shout out sports. And there's nothing wrong with people that want to be in the stand. The world needs people that are in the stands observing, and the world needs people that are on the field, right? So we need all of it. But you and I are definitely field people. The only problem is we will overexert ourselves when we could just ask for help, and that's something that should work on.
I know. All right, fine.
Okay, chapter 15.
Yes.
8 summers ago, we're in San Fran. Have you ever been to San Francisco?
Yes, girl. Have you?
Yeah, love it. Gorgeous.
You go. Yeah.
Gorgeous.
I thought you were saying no.
Big fan.
See,
No.
I went to San Fran when I was young before. I know a lot has changed up there and, especially after pandemic, but I will say that I was obsessed with it. I loved it. It was the coolest little town. I wanted to go back as an adult, like just all the things. But you've gone as
I
an
went with my
adult.
dad and brother. Expensive, gorgeous. It's like kind of like a New York City on the ocean, which is ironic because New York City is on the ocean, but it's like more
Stuck in the middle.
Boston-y ocean,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
polar ocean-y,
Yeah,
I guess.
for
I don't
sure.
know. Maybe a terrible description, but we're in San Francisco. I just want to say really quick, because Poppy drops out of college. Shout out dropping out of college. Your girl did the same
Me
thing.
too. Yeah.
Saved on student loans, doing
Girl,
fine.
I was
Anyway.
crazy. I had a full ride scholarship and I dipped, but we won't go into that. Go on, please.
Well, listen, because you just, I don't know. I
was
had a
living
scholarship
life,
too.
baby. And then
Yep.
life happens. But it's
Yep.
good. I'm where I'm at. So you'll
Yes. Poppy has a guy, Julian, also a dropout. He's a artist in training. He has like hangry issues. They have a very like toxic, it feels like love bomby toxic relationship. He doesn't want to marry. He doesn't want to have kids. They either hang out for 3 weeks in a row or they don't talk. He won't talk to her for a couple days. Like all I'm thinking is red flag, personality disorder. Uh-oh. Alex obviously doesn't like him. Shocking. I don't think he'd like him even if he were a good guy, but he definitely doesn't like him because he's a bad guy. You and I have both dabbled in the F-boy pool, if you will.
Yeah,
For
we
better
sure
or for
have.
worse.
What would you say one of your most favorite F-boy stories would be? If you had to pick just one.
Let me just say, I've dated some lovely humans, and I've dated some idiots.
Listen, we lived, or I lived, and you live in LA. I mean, that is a crazy place, and it's
We're crazy out
even
here.
crazier place to date.
It's insane. It's absolute insanity. So at the expense of not ever saying anybody's name, because I will never say anybody's name, I was pre-therapy. I was really susceptible to love bombing. So that would be somebody that comes into your life and just pumps you full of excitement and compliments and maybe vacations and maybe, like you just, as a hopeless romantic, you're just like, oh my gosh, I met my soulmate right away. And then the psychology behind that is the love bomber will start to pull away. And then you'll be like, well, where are you going? And you'll go after them. So then it becomes an avoidant personality and an anxious personality type. And then they're going like this, right? And that's where the toxicity comes from. So I've had a few, just ask my dad and brother.
Or me.
Here's the thing. I don't know if you should give everything you got into a relationship right off the bat. There's a lot of good psychology behind having the other person earn it. And I think you can find a happy medium because, at least for me, I give everything I've got to everything I do. Another superpower Achilles heel thing. I'm going to give everything I got, for better or for worse. And so, but I do think when you're just starting to date somebody, it's good to make them earn a little bit of it.
Yeah. When I first started dating Freddie, I was so just not used to the healthy part of it because the relationship right before it, I was dating someone who was always just so jealous, right? They were just always, who are you talking to? Going through my phone, you're cheating, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, homie, like, here's my phone. Look at everything. I am not doing anything wrong. Come to find out, they had that behavior because they were the one cheating.
Correct.
That's what always happens. And so it was just so refreshing I almost didn't know how to handle it at first. I was like, oh, like, did I thrive in chaos? Is that just because I was used to it? You know what I'm saying? Like when you're used to that for so long, and then I kind of slowly but surely started learning, like, wait, no, this is how life should be. It should be this good. It should feel great. So gosh, all the times in LA, we've had some years, girl.
We've lived 7 lives. At the very least, 7 lives.
That's a whole nother
Okay.
podcast.
Yes. Okay. So we're in San Fran. They're starting their newlywed ruse, which is becoming their thing. I love it. Mainly right now, it's so they can get free wine. Very cute, very adorable. They're drinking, they're a little drunk, and Poppy bursts into tears about Julian because she said he doesn't want to get married, and then she's worried that nobody's ever going to love her. It's relatable. Alex picks her up, says, I love you, and if you want, we can die alone together. Which, can I say, two very normal things that friends say to one another.
Yeah, clearly. Clearly.
Yeah.
And he also said, too, when talking about Julian, I can tell he just doesn't get it. And she goes, get what? And he says, you. He has no idea how lucky he is. Why aren't we dating yet?
No idea.
Lock it up. Lock it up, Alex.
Absolutely not. We also, but what?
No, I was just going to say those were really sweet moments, though, that kind of opened up a little bit more to us, just their vulnerable side and just how much you're kind of like, well, they do feel this way and they are expressing it, but not fully romantic yet, but enough to kind of throw the bait out there and see how the other one maybe might react without it being too upfront. But I just find it interesting that they did all these vacations, they're drinking, and like, you didn't kiss once.
How have they not at
In
least
Croatia, 10 years later, a decade later.
I
know.
But they do. We end this chapter with a little cuddle, a little drunk cuddle, and then she wakes up the next morning. She's humiliated. I was like, "Girl, don't be humiliated. Who doesn't like a little cuddle?"
Well, and didn't she say, too, in this chapter that she wasn't going to break up with Julian right away because she didn't want there to be a correlation of, yeah, I broke up with him because of what you said. And not to bring it up again, but that's literally what happened with Freddie and I. Like, one of the very first times we had, like, a moment like that, I was like, no, I'm going to get back with an ex. I can't have him think that that changed my thoughts. And it's just crazy. And I'm like, did Emily Henry go through this herself? How does she know? Because there's been a lot of spot on stuff that I go, okay.
I think a lot of women have very parallel realities in the dating world. I think a lot of the stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason because
yes.
we all have to go through it. Okay, so chapter 16, we're back to this summer. Poppy, like me, is a plant killer.
You and
Love
the plants. I can't.
Yes.
How's your plant doing that you got? You just got one.
Actually, shout out Easy Plant because both of my plants are thriving and I haven't really had to do a whole lot, but make sure they are in the sun.
There you go. See, you can do it.
Okay. That I can do.
You got this.
I have to pay 4 times as much for a plant so that it comes with a little planter that waters it for me so that I don't overwater it and kill it. However, they're alive and well.
Okay, good. Progress.
Yes. Alex is injured. Poppy goes out to get some stuff for him. She goes out to like fill her day because, she wants to just hang with him, but he's like, just go. I don't want to ruin your vacation.
But she's like, I want to stay here with him, though.
I know.
Like her vacation, she wanted to be with him. So she goes to that museum and she circles it like 3 times, not absorbing anything, which she just wants to be with Alex. She wants to be back with him. But she's like, okay, I'm leaving. Go on. I interrupted.
Yeah. Well, she pulled out an inside joke and he didn't even respond to it. And so I remember reading, she thought to herself, did like all the little inside jokes and moments that mean so much to her, do they not mean anything to him? And did they not talk for 2 years because he was okay without her? And it was just heartbreaking. Our minds play crazy tricks on us all the time. And I just felt so bad for her.
Do you ever feel like you're an overthinker when it comes to stuff like that? I think we all are. I'll lay in bed at night from something.
Yes.
No, I'll lay in bed at night with something that happened the summer of 5th grade. Did I make the right choice?
I love when you're just like, you're just hanging out, you're watching, you're reading something, then you remember something horribly embarrassing and you're just like,
there's nothing
I'll
worse.
never forget, I was in New York City. I ran into an ex. We went to get a drink. Amicable ending, really sweet. He's married with kids. Wish him the best. He's so lovely. And he's like, I wanted to apologize to you for something. I don't even remember what it was. He's like, something that happened during our relationship. I thought about it all the time. And I was like, can I be honest, man? I don't even remember.
Isn't that crazy, though? For all those years, he probably was like, oh my gosh, I have to apologize, get this off my conscience. And for you, you're like, homie.
So
I don't even remember that.
For me though, so when I'm worried that somebody else is, thinking all the time, like at the end of the day, we all have so much stuff going on in our own lives. We're probably not thinking about the weird thing that you did earlier.
Yep. And at the end of the day, it just goes to show we're essentially like our own worst enemies. We're the ones who are nitpicking everything and going over it all. And it's like, oh, I'm in a great mood. What was bothering me? like, I know our brains do.
All the time. All the time. Like, I feel great. Your brain's like,
No, what was that thing?
yeah, yeah. I got stuff for you. Let me throw stuff at you. We find out his back injuries kind of started a couple months after Croatia, which I thought was interesting. We have trauma injuries. We know the body keeps score. I know when I'm in a really bad relationship, my body will tell me before my brain will tell me, which is annoying.
Interesting with you because I do remember that certain things would happen to you and we're like, is this correlated?
And then the second I finally leave somebody, it all goes away. And it's like, what is, because we're both empaths, so we're both very sensitive. We absorb, and so, yeah, if I'm in a dangerous or unhealthy relationship, my body will tell me. So I wonder if his body is telling him through his back spasms that something in Croatia.
I love all your little thoughts on this. You picked up on Croatia, what happened. Yep. This 100%, I feel that's a yes. Yeah. His body's like, wait a minute, you're in love. Let me spaz out.
Or don't let this girl go.
Well, then from there, literally, Poppy was snooping on his laptop when he went into the bathroom again. And when she
put Netflix on. So he gave her the opening.
He started it, but then she's sitting there and she's like, oh God. I mean, when I started reading that, I go, oh Lord, Molly and I are going to have a field day with this one because it's such dangerous territory. We're sleuths, Like,
it's always hard not to look, but I will say this. If I really respect the relationship I'm in, I won't look.
Sure. 100%.
I don't. I'm looking.
But I think that's pretty regular.
Yeah. Well, and the goal is to not be in a relationship where you don't respect.
Yes.
Person. So,
dude, I don't think I would be so painfully bored if I looked through Freddie's computer.
You just see a lot of financial analytics about the housing crisis and the stock market.
So painfully bored.
I'd be so bored. And then a couple of weird Snapchat filter videos that he didn't send me for my birthday.
Oh my gosh. Yes. But in her case, she saw that he got a job offer.
He's applying.
Applying. Just kidding, guys.
That's okay. He's looking at it. He's applying to maybe
Berkeley Carroll in New York, which ding, ding, ding is where she lives. Huge. But he doesn't know if he can leave Sarah.
Right. Sarah's back.
Sarah's got to go.
Yeah.
And they keep saying that he likes this very vanilla, sweet, cupcakey, which is fine, but that is not Poppy.
That white picket, he wants that white picket fence. And I'm like, is he the last man in America who does? Because
don't forget, he was written by a woman, Molly.
That's right. That's the game changer. We do find out Poppy doesn't want him to get back with Sarah, obviously. Sarah doesn't like Poppy, and Poppy goes, if you get married to her, then I might not be in your life anymore. And he's saying he wants to, maybe be with Sarah because he wants to settle down and he wants to, he doesn't like when she kind of dogs out Ohio, and he's a small town boy.
That gutted me just when she said to him, I'll never see you again, or if you get married to anyone, we won't be in each other's life. And I can 100% see that being true, because what wife is going to want your man, your husband, to leave every year to go
on some amazing, beautiful vacation?
It's so disrespectful, in my opinion. I just would never be okay with that. Even if they're just friends, you gotta have
they're not just friends. They've flirted, they've slept together. Now it's not.
This is true. Now, valid concerns. Valid. So she ends up offering to help Alex with his dating profile, his Tinder profile. And when I read that, I kind of freaked out. I was like, oh God, no. You guys are pretending like you're okay with this, but we all know.
100%.
We all know. What's your Tinder profile say?
I've never been on Tinder.
Really? You're a Raya? How do you say it? Raya girl?
I'm on Raya.
Raya.
I hate it.
Rye, like rye bread. I don't know why I can never remember how to say it. Raya.
It's a dumb app.
Is it just for people in LA, or is it all over the world?
Which is really interesting and also kind of annoying, because I'm not going to try and actively date someone that lives in Italy.
I was going to ask you, do people come up that live in Italy or?
Yeah. Oh, all the time. Yeah. I know. I think my profile says, listen, I'm a weirdo, right? It's not a linear. I have a smiling picture for my profile, and then I have a picture of me in my Darkwing Duck costume when I was a kid. Little
Epic.
10-year-old Molly, full decked out
Epic.
Darkwing Duck.
Epic.
I have a picture of Michael Jordan and Kobe beefing. Like, you're not gonna get normal.
Showing your personality, who you are.
I'm weird, and you got to know that if you're gonna.
I love that. I love
swipe
that.
And never say hi.
Now, when you swipe right, that's good. Is right good or is left good? I never know this.
This with Raya, you either say X or heart. There's no swiping because
Really?
swiping changes pictures.
So if so on normal apps that aren't Raya, you swipe left if you don't like them.
I believe.
Leave so? I never know. I always am like,
right. I think swiping right means you like
them.
To be honest, the dating app thing has never been. I've never enjoyed it. I have a profile right now, but I don't really even ever because it's just it gives me.
I can't anxiety. I get it. I feel that.
Anxiety.
Not into it.
Yeah.
Well, Alex and Poppy are sitting going over his profile, and she's looking at his Tinder profile, and literally his profile photos of him and like 3 other teachers. She's like, first of all.
Yeah, she has a lot of work to do to clean that profile up. It's
just
bad.
Crop the photo, Alex.
Yeah. We're just looking for you, champ. And he's also written a novel. She's like, you don't need any of this. So she cleans his up, and then he looks at her, and they have this little debate that, like, you would never swipe on me anyway. And he gets very serious, and he goes, yes, I would.
Screaming, kicking my feet.
Yes. What was the line, though, where I shoved the memory down? I shoved down the memory of everything.
Oh, my God. I thought I wrote this down.
Because we get the biggest, juiciest tidbit about Croatia.
Here it is. Oh, wait, no, I don't have it. Go back. I'm so sorry. I cut you off. I thought I had it.
That's okay. We have the biggest, juiciest tidbit about Croatia. She says, I shoved down the memory of everything that mouth did in Croatia.
When I read that, the cast, that right there told me all I need to know. I was like, okay, so you're holding out to tell us what happened in Croatia, but you finally give us this in chapter 16.
We had to earn it.
Now I know. We did.
Emily
we did
earn that.
Yeah. It was so worth it.
Loved it. Everything that mouth did, I knew they.
Girl, that's why you're looking at his body different in the towel. All the things. Yeah. Because you know what's under that because you've seen it.
God bless.
Probably after a shower in Croatia. I don't know. Just a hypothesis.
Dying, waiting for that chapter. I'm hoping it's
come
for episode 3. Oh, chapter 17. 7 summers ago, we're in New Orleans, one of my favorite places. I filmed a show there for a couple years. Absolutely fell in love with the city. I love it so much. A lot of the places they were talking about were places I'd been to before. The restaurant with the carousel inside of it, that's a real spot. The bar that they go to in Louisiana, that's like the second oldest bar in Louisiana, operating bar in Louisiana. It's called, I wrote it down, Lafitte. I believe Lafitte. When I walked in, it's like an old blacksmith, like it looks like pirates used to go there and drink beer and stuff, and you could feel the ghostly, like you could feel the weird energy there. And then it also very much does have a giant trivia machine in the corner, which is a wild dichotomy of old blacksmith, witchcraft, New Orleans, and weird Vegas.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Dude, have you ever heard, since you were there for some time, that there's this old, I don't know what you want to call it, an old tale, let's say, where if you touch your elbow with someone else's, they can take the future of your life. And so people on the streets will go and do that to you and be like, hey man, like, come on, touch my elbow. It's funny. And they're like, some people will do it because they're tourists, they're drinking. And supposedly the old wives' tale, I guess is what I was looking for, is that if you tap their elbow, they'll take your future life and you're going to get their outcome, which generally ain't good. Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah. I saw a TikTok on it and the guy was doing it on the street and I was like, wait, because a lot of stuff you can kind of, no elbow touching ever, but you can kind of feel it in that city. Like just from my time I've spent there, so cool. But there's a lot of stuff going on underneath that you can feel the energy.
Think about what happened in Louisiana, Mississippi, Georgia, South Carolina. Like,
of course.
America doesn't have a great history, y'all. So the things that happen down there and that energy stays and you can feel it. I remember we filmed at a house, this big mansion, and it was tough to even be inside of it. I remember telling you about it. I was freaking out about it. And I don't usually I'm not like I've never had a ghost sighting. I don't really know how I feel about
Energy
that.
is so real, though. You can feel
Mhm.
it. And
Mhm.
how could you not there?
Yeah. Well, and then after we finished filming, I looked up the house and there was terrible things that had happened there, and I was like, oh, okay, that's what I was feeling. Really interesting stuff.
Was that for
Um,
Queen of the South when you were
yeah,
filming there? Yeah, it was. Oh
yeah,
my gosh, so
yeah.
crazy.
I
I'd
don't-
love to hear, though, that the author nailed it with the locations and that they're real and that
Yeah.
you've been there. I think that's so cool because it just goes to show she really knew her stuff. She did her
She did her
research.
research, or she's been there, which
Yeah.
I kind of get the vibe that she's been to all these places, which is kind of fun. Okay, so Poppy's with Guillermo now, current chef boyfriend, which she really likes. It sounds like it's a healthy relationship.
Love that their first date, though, he had gotten off of work late. And so when he saw her, he kissed her before they even did their date. And then they went to breakfast. And I was like,
Adorable.
okay,
Adorable.
okay. I like that for her because she's dated
Good
a
for
lot of
you.
losers, you know?
Yeah,
Seems. It seems.
right. Same. Um, so he likes Guillermo, and yet she has so much fun with Alex in New Orleans. They're going in and out of bars, they're listening to music, they're drinking, they're stuck at a bar, they're real tight, and Alex says, sorry for being so tall, LOL, said no guy ever in Los Angeles. Now it's nighttime, dancing drunk in the streets of New Orleans at midnight. Like, be so for real. You guys are in love.
Love, love, love.
Yeah.
It's like they were about to get a freaking tattoo.
Yes.
Remember that? She wanted to
Yeah.
get the tattoo of their characters, the role play that said, oh, I forget what it was. It's some Broadway quote.
Yeah, it's their alter egos.
Yes, yes,
It's
yes, yes,
their-
yes.
Remember there because they're being that power couple, that Broadway power couple, Gladys and Keith Vivant, and all the world is a stage. That's the tattoo. They're gonna get all the world. I wish they got that. Fun fact about me: I will go get a tattoo. I don't care. I don't
love
have to
that.
plan it. I don't have to like. I've gotten some
Spontaneous.
tattoos with ties, which don't do, but I've done it. Like I love a tattoo. I love a spontaneous moment. So
Oh, there's one you got that makes me LOL, but that's all I'll say about that one.
LOL.
I
Hardest
do.
of LOLs, and it's still there. It's still there.
Joke's on me.
I'll never forget. I went home and I had the protection, like the wrapping on it. My brother was like,
What is
and
that?
he just went upstairs and he yelled, "I can't believe you did that. I'm sorry. I'm a hopeless romantic. I'm an idiot. I do dumb stuff."
It's
Love a
okay.
tattoo.
It's
I've got some
fun.
really cute ones that were spontaneous, and then I've got some.
Another story, which I love. I mean, even reading this, they had the story, and it was so cute because she really wanted to get the tattoo. And he goes, if you still think it's a good idea when you're sober, essentially. He kind of was like alluding that he would do it type thing. But they even had that fake fight too. And when they were role playing, she's like,
Hilarious.
yeah, a fake beard doesn't take an hour. Saying he was like cheating with the makeup artist.
I love it.
And I just
They
love
have
that
so much
for
fun
them.
together. Yes, they have so much fun together. They remind me of you and Freddie. You guys make each other laugh more than anybody I've ever seen. And like that's the dream, right? Is like you find somebody that just cracks
You
you
have
up.
fun with. That's your best
And then
friend.
have
That's
fun with.
it. Yep.
I know.
To be fair,
But,
he is funny as fuck.
Freddie's hilarious. He is so it's great because he played such a serious character on Days. But then I kind of did too. It was like we're the opposite of.
yeah.
Actually, I was a shithead on Days. Serious, like on SVU. It's like so serious. But I'm the opposite of that, which is so. So I feel like Freddie and I play.
I love that though. You've got range, baby.
But the goal is to have what you and Freddie have, not just have it be the first like couple of months where they're cracking you up and then all of a sudden they freak out and they stop trying.
See, that's so weird to me. I don't even get how that happens. Obviously it does, but
I think it's all trauma, psychological, and
yeah.
I don't know.
No.
Okay.
She's like, I've thought about this.
Yeah, trust me. Many hours of therapy in this. I have a lot of empathy for both sets. With Alex, Poppy realizes she will never fully feel alone as long as she has him around. And that's how we end chapter 17, which was just so sweet and wonderful. Then we go to 18, our final chapter of this episode, and we're back to this summer. I loved that we landed on this summer and got another little view behind the curtain of what's happening right now.
Yes.
A little dose. So she has a memory of Alex getting a story published.
Yes, a short story.
Yes. That she read and she was crying about it because it was so beautiful.
Yes, because I guess she essentially was saying that it really hit home for her because of what she had gone through when she was younger. You know, which that's what art is. It hits you when it should hit you,
Yeah.
you know? As they always like to say, God, I only remember what they say. What's their little saying their inside joke from that first 21,000 piece of art that they saw? And you'll just get it or
It speaks
something.
to me.
It speaks to me.
It
That's it. That's
speaks
it.
to
That's
me.
it. Like
Yep.
this short story spoke to her. And he was
Mhm.
so embarrassed at first to even share it with her. And he's like, well, if you don't like it, then the program is wrong for taking me in. And it just showed that he cared so much
No.
about her opinion, how valuable it was to him. And she loved it and she was crying. And it was just a tender little moment that
I
I live
know.
for.
It was so sweet. And then Poppy kisses him on the cheek once again, another very normal thing friends do between each other.
This was the first time, though, she did that after Croatia and they saw each other, you know? So after whatever happened, this was, I feel like, their first physical contact with like a kiss.
Yes, 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 yes.
Give me some lip kissing.
Yeah, now make out. So I have in here that this is when they were working on each other's profiles. I don't know why.
You know what? You're probably right. I've got papers all over my
Or
desk.
did they start in 16 and then they finished working on each other's profile in 18?
Maybe that's what happened.
Because they kind of get in a little, I think that's what happened. They get in a little tiff of like, you know, she's like, start swiping, let me see who you're into. And all the ones that he chooses are like very cookie cutter.
The
Very
vanilla
not
girls. Yeah. Yeah.
They
Which
all
is
remind me
okay.
of Sarah.
It's okay.
Look, there's nothing wrong with it, okay? Nothing wrong with it. But I think that's also why he's so attracted to Poppy, even if it's friendship-wise, because she gets him to get out of his, you know,
Yep.
get out of his shell.
I think it's that question for him, who does he prefer to be? You know, what version of himself does he like better? The one he is when he's with Poppy or the one he is when he's with a prototype like Sarah? You know, he's probably two very different people. And I don't think anyone like Poppy has ever brought that side of him out, which seems to be a great, fun, special side, you know? So I was like,
I know. I loved it.
and at the very end, she said, thank God for the back spasm, or I don't know what would have happened. Because essentially, I felt that was her way of being like, we would have ripped each other's clothes off. Like they were having a moment. And because of that spasm, they couldn't do anything. So I ended on that chapter. I go, dang it.
Love it. I know.
Not one more chapter.
I know.
I just need to know what happened.
I know. I thought about kept going, but I didn't. But I thought about it.
I did too. I think about it every time, and I'll continue to think about it. So I'm a grown woman. I'll do what I want.
True. That's true.
Book club or
Here's where we're
not.
at. Yes, yes. Alex is recovering. Poppy's with him. They're at this shitty hotel. And when we come back for episode 3, we will be covering chapters 19 through 27, which I'm fingers crossed we get a little Croatia action.
What do you guys think? Are we going to get Croatia? Do you think we'll get Croatia? I think so. I think it's time, right?
I think we've earned it. We're in the second half of the book now officially, right? So we need to know what's going on here because it's going to cause another fight and they're going to have to mend it.
Well, I think, too, the wedding festivities are going to start because I think she was saying this was the last night of just them. So that's going to bring its own drama because you're stepping into wedding world, which we know was wild.
Insane.
So now I wonder if Sarah will be there at the wedding. Is there any world where that could happen?
Maybe like
I
she either
hope
shows
so.
up to win him or he invited her.
Right? Because David might know her.
And they haven't spoke. I'm sure David knows her if they've dated.
Right.
The brother, obviously. Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. I know. So I can't wait to see, but I like to think of just little ideas of like what's going to stir up some drama. What would I write?
I love it. I love it. I love it. Bring Sarah. Let's go.
I love it. Well, guys, thanks so much for hanging with us and listening to us. And I have so much fun talking with you about all this. And we'd love to hear from you guys. Also, make sure you're connected with us on our social media. We're at A Novel Bunch Podcast on Instagram and TikTok. We have a lot of fun over there, posting, commenting, putting our favorite little memes up, you know, to get us through the week, all the things. But we love you. We appreciate you. And we'll see you next Tuesday.